And the Medcom 72, I haven't tried using that yet. Let's have a look at these lockers first though. Is that a reagent box? Don't want to pick up too many items right now, unfortunately. More Quicksilver. The Medcom machine that provides medical care without any need for an actual doctor. Oh, so it costs money. Looks pretty legit, I guess. And another orange. Oh yeah, that's that gang guy. Scary. What are those things? I've seen them in the loading. Was it loading? No, it's the start menu thing. Can't do anything with that. Is this something where someone's sword? Area. That one's offline, right? Oh, broken. Can't seem to select them to find out what it is, unfortunately. Let's speak to this guy, and Mr. Eterno. Hey, psst, come on. Turning to the voice, you see a short, black-haired boy with a neatly trimmed mustache. He's holding a mop and a badge sewn to his orange robe identifies him as Enrique Eterno. Here's the thing, my relative passed away. Virgia and Maria, have mercy on the soul of your humble servant. Without interrupting his incessant chatter, Enrique lifts his eyes to heaven and crosses himself. Anyways, he's in the morgue now, and the ring, a family heirloom, remains with him. He'll not give it back to me, those bitches. Will you help? Sure. Eterno pats you on the shoulder with a hard, heavy hand. Well, thank you. He's lying right there as you enter the morgue. He's wearing a gold ring on his left hand. He was a man of God, my relative. I bet he was your relative, buddy. I bet. Silverwing unit dead. So that's why you can't get in then. Need a higher level. Why'd they take his shoes off? Maybe I can find a way to get in there without using the good old lockpick, because otherwise I don't think I'm going to get in. An interesting character portrait. Yuki Tetsuno. Hi! A young woman with a very creative dye job brings the spontaneous good cheer down on you like a sledgehammer. Say hi. What's she have for sale? Airgun powerlet. Say hi. I'm Yuki. I'm the most awesome techie here. I'm also fast and strong. Watch this. She smacks the table with some kind of tool, leaving a considerable dent. Act impressed. She smiles widely, twirling a lock of hair around her finger. Then she addresses you with a conspiratorial whisper. You know why they transferred me to the science level even though I'm a blue? Just that it's because she pissed off everyone in the technical level already? No, she's so smart, I guess. Yuki reacts with joyous surprise. Hey, that's exactly right. She frowns suddenly. But they don't let me do anything. It's an awkward pause. Walk away. Can't do anything else then. When she sees you, Yuki jumps in place and waves one arm as though you're 100 yards away. Also jump in place and wave. Alright, so I can't do anything with that. What's this? Portable computer. Will the White Swan take off? Underdome Daily Paper. What issue is this? 14th September 19th. Oh, this is today's paper. In announcing construction of a new R&D complex, C.R.O.N.U.S management has undoubtedly agitated all of the White Wing. That Magellan Station doesn't have the capacity to properly research and evaluate the forefathers' heritage has become a common concern among scientists. New facilities and new resources would certainly not hurt morale. But it was reported recently that the progress on this new base, tentatively called White Swan, is behind schedule. Our source from Silverwing said this may be related to the ancient structures upon which the complex is being built. Since the structures are often inhabited in quotation marks, significant security measures are necessary, measures which increase both time and the cost of construction, but we still believe the object will be complete by the deadline. In the end, it was thanks to the technological wonders of the forefathers and the unwavering will of Cronus that we humans settled in the dome, or to lead humanity to a glorious future. Lovely. By the way, it's still got a paper when it's clearly not. Control panel. Don't want to mess anything up, but let's have a look at it. The console allows one to monitor ecozone experiments as blocked now, unsurprisingly. I wouldn't want randomers like me touching it either, especially when, like me, they wouldn't know what they're doing. Into the lab. Okay. Well, that dude's got a really cool uniform. Damn, I want something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go from left to... No, I'm gonna speak to this guy first. Looks like he can... I guess he doesn't really look like he knows what he's doing, but... Looks like someone who's important. A white-winged employee whispers something, gazing up at the ceiling. He doesn't even notice you. His pale uniform is covered with spots and stains in many different colours. Even the badge with his name, George Sarrant, is smeared with something pink. Discover what kind of Cronus points and forefather points are displayed on the screen of your handheld. Sarrant inclines his head and looks at you with extreme surprise. He's very good at this expression of absolute bewilderment. Shuffling like an old man, he comes up to you. Aren't you ashamed to be such an ignorant person? This is the famous Cronus Research Support Program. You need to know these things. The professor taps on the scanner lens with a curved finger. You scan things and get forefather points and Cronus points. You take these points, you trade them for medicines, chemical reagents, and for anything else that's useful. And what can you get? Depends with whom you're trading. Most often it's medicine, but sometimes it's weapons, sometimes armor. From some, it's experimental equipment that can be obtained. Everyone has something different to offer. He proudly sticks out his sunken chest. I, so that you know, also participate in the program as an approved vendor. We can trade. This is for your information. I get the idea and want to trade points. Let's see. George pulls out a spotless Cronus out of his pocket in a leatherette case. What points are we going to spend exactly? Cronus, I guess? Ah. Let's take a look. Yeah, so medical supplies. I don't want to do those. Let's try forefather points. Oh, is it the same thing? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ready to trade. And he puts the computer back into his pocket. And you must be more determined. Fortune favours the brave, as they say. How else can I help? Can you trade me normally? What's that? A relic shard. Oh, no packs. And I guess I better walk over to these guys. I didn't quite hear what they were arguing with. I guess I'll get to speak to both of them this way. Passing through the laboratory, you accidentally witness an argument between two White Wing employees. A pale, bespectacled man with a beard flails his scrawny arms as if drawing something in the air. But all hail progress. The cap's blank is shampoo over silicone base. We remove the silicone bit, use it to cover the pointed part of the relic, roll it up in plastic film, and... The opposite shakes his head in annoyance. Dieter, this is not the scientific approach. There is value, but there is an unknown risk factor, which you propose to mitigate with shampoo caps. Upon noticing that you're looking at him, he abruptly stops talking. After an appraising glance, the White comes closer. There's a relic in our laboratory that we have to bring to the surface, but it's sensitive to the chemical decontamination agent in the chamber. My colleague is positive that a plastic wrap in silicone will protect the artifact from the effects of the gas, but I say it's too risky to rely on such methods. It's like draping a blanket over a grenade. We should just turn off the sprinklers. Boss, technically I could, you know, reprimand them for that. What is it then? Why do they want to bring it to the surface? I guess I could agree to help. We'll see what this says anyway. White looks at his colleague with a superior gaze. And you say shampoo caps. He shakes your hand. Thanks for working for the advancement of science. Alright. Ask about the relic first. Dieter brightens. Reverend, may I? Let me tell you, this is very, very interesting. Levi rolls his eyes expressively. Heimlich appears to take this as a sign of agreement. Hands trembling, he opens a drawer to withdraw an object a bit larger than his palm. It's an elongated device resembling a syringe or knife with a massive hilt and a thin blade. It glows slightly, and the vibrating housing produces a thin, mosquito-like whine. Listen to the story. Heimlich hands you the relic, so you can take a closer look. It was discovered in Ankara quite recently, at the beginning of August, 20 meters underground. The chamber is totally ruined. The walls look like they've been shelled. Wait, are we talking about Ankara outside the dome in Turkey? The scientist ogles the mystery mechanism. It was the only thing left in that room. The research team was of course hoping to find some kind of remains, but you know, no one's ever seen them. Nor a relic like this, by the way. The scanner can't even detect it. It seems to be all. Was there something else you want to know? What does it do? The question seems to baffle the scientist. Levi makes a helpless gesture. Meanwhile, all it does is buzz and vibrate. I know from this description it sounds like a motorized dildo, but I think the relic's real purpose is much more frightening. Like a weaponized motorized dildo. It might be a devastating weapon. Dieter vigorously points his pointer finger at the ceiling. Levi reaches out and lowers Dieter's hand. Don't get yourself worked up. Yes, it might be a weapon in the middle of some complicated cycle. Possibly we're witnessing a recharging process, or maybe targeting. A thorough evaluation could help us learn the truth. How did it escape the decontamination chamber? The whites exchange looks. Reuben nervously twines his fingers together. I would prefer not to get into that. Ooh, speech or contraband? Let's go with speech. The scientist lowers his voice. In fact, this relic, it's ours. Deus isn't mine. We bought it for private use. Heimlich shushes his partner, squinting at the camera right below the ceiling. Levi continues in a whisper. Did you hear about Golan Lindbergh from Orange Wing? It's him who gets this stuff for people. It's not cheap, of course, and obviously not quite legal. Can we change the subject now? Ask how decontamination chamber can be switched off. Levi lowers his voice. Being a security protocol, the decontamination chambers are in Blackwing's domain. Antonia Aguirre can switch them off, but we would prefer to keep this secret as possible. After all, we're violating safety regulations. Okay. You don't have anything to barter. What about you? Nope, not really. Said I can take the relic out myself. So yeah, best not to do it just yet. What the hell's that? Relic storage. Bio flask with a brain. Who do that? I'm just gonna save before I do. A glass flask that evokes thoughts of a cartoon about the beauty and beast contains something more valuable than a rose. A pale brain wrapped in wires and sensors, hovering in a dense fluid. A small compressor saturates the liquid with oxygen, filling it with a myriad of churning bubbles. Inspect the flask very carefully. After carefully examining the flask, you find a small pink tag stuck at the base of the container. The inscription reads, Chimpanzee Brain. Find out what the wires and hoses are connected to the flask are connected to. You inspect the cables. This one is responsible for power supply. The second, with a round DIN connector, belongs to universal interfaces and may be used to enter any information you like. The third cable, everything is quite simple. This is a video communication cable, and it's connected to a monitor on the same desk. You turn on the monitor. The screen is empty. It sets the line, I swim hot to go around, hot I eat hot at the top. Intriguing. The second cable connected to the microphone is even more intriguing. It seems the brain in the flask receives sound signal and produces an answer that is displayed on the screen as text. Not words, but images converted to text. Calmly say something into the microphone. Big kinsman neither states nor asks the brain in the jar. Shush into the microphone. Others run. I look. What could it possibly mean? Continue. I swim warm, the test subject in the flask adds for some reason. So he's talking about the heat. But can't brains can't process like sensory data? Like when you get a headache, it's not actually your brain hurting, it's your brain telling your body that it's hurting. So how do you know that he's hot? I don't want to roar to the microphone, that's just mean. Don't do anything, just watch. You have to wait a very long time before the words I swim appeared on the screen. Pithy. Move away. Can you do anything else? No. Brain connected to it. Roar into it. The screen is instantly filled with rows of characters. Kill, I kill, height, height, above others. This is the only relatively comprehensible phrase among a jumble of unrelated words. He thinks he's better than me, eh? Probably is. Should I? Oh, there's quite a lot of stuff around here, actually. But there's probably going to be some nice stuff around here, too. Ooh. Electronics repair kit, eh? Weight 2, though. Might be worth just grabbing. Slight encumbrance is gone. Encumbrance is applied. Hope I won't need to get into combat soon. I just checked that one, haven't I? Oh, no. Microscope. You look through the microscope and see nothing but white lights and dust on the lens. Any other strange equipment? And some reagents as well. Oh, I forgot I can take Quicksilver because it doesn't weigh anything, does it? Scientific terminal. The A scientific article is presented on the flickering screen at the terminal. At the bottom, on the command line, separated by a line feed, the cursor flashes. Read the contents. You run through the text. Thanks to our latest research, we're now one step closer to technical implementation of the human-machine neural interface. This opens up tremendous opportunities in various areas of technology, but above all in creating giant anthropomorphic robots. Redone. And that's in Russian. I have no idea. Ah, see ya. Read a couple more pages, not going into detail. Your gaze stops at the last paragraph. It's doubtful that the influence of relics on the psyche is physical nature. Most likely, we're dealing with suggestion. Auto-suggestion, in some cases, mass hysteria. Entities shouldn't be multiplied unnecessarily. Well, that's all I need from that. And what does this one say? Well, at least he told me. I can't check any of those. Nothing. Every time I see leaflets like that, I always get excited. I'm like, ooh, something I can read, but it's not to be. I'm not going to loot all this just yet. There's not really much reason. Another scientific terminal. Oh, I can check the control panel as well, can't I? Monitor ecozone experiments. And what does this one do? It's blocked now. I could just check the power supply, but I can't actually do anything with it. Tape recorder. Thick paper envelopes with illegibly signed labels. Judging by the fact that they are next to the tape recorder, these are audio recordings made on magnetic tape. Let's listen to the first one. Pulling the first tape out of the envelope, you put the reel in the tape recorder. April the 12th. It's very unpleasant for me to think about the schemes that some people manage to plot during working and non-working hours. Kramskoy said that someone replaced distilled water in his laboratory with regular water. Very ingenious and very underhanded. Of course the experiment failed. Kramskoy himself is partly to blame for this. He set 123 as the door code to enter the laboratory. Safety first, really. No, it's that tape. So, White Wing likes to sabotage each other then. Second tape. May the 23rd. A couple of weeks ago there was a fire in the wetlands laboratory. I've heard rumours that the wiring had nothing to do with it, but it was arson organised by his colleague, Handel. What can I say? Handel is not evil, but he's divorced from reality and completely capable of doing such a thing. I bet there is a woman involved. Of course, it's pointless to ask Wetland, or Handel for that matter. Well, that's concerning. Destroying science, and you actually call yourself a scientist. That's into the third tape. June the 3rd. Let it be the 2nd. We had to clean up Gilbert's shit until late into the night. He somehow connected our network, and all the teletypes began to print out the phrase, "Bad before neutron X." God, the people you have to work with. Sakuma immediately suggested disabling it, but I asked for the Gibson account to be blocked with the new one created, with an unencrypted password. Gibson took the bait. I can't believe that paranoid Gibson took the bait. Now I have his username and password, which he presumably uses everywhere. NeutronX is his username, and his password is "all your base are belong to us." Don't ask me what this means. Apparently it means something to Gibson. And tape number 4. You secure the reel with the 4th tape on the spindle of the same recorder. Play the tape. June the 10th. Tomoko is very weak. Ayaki moved her, said that the ceiling is leaking, but I understand that she's simply afraid for her sister. We're all afraid. Everyone knows that this would be Tomoko's last birthday. I gave Seraphim to her. If she could walk, she'd be dancing with happiness right now. I could have given him to her earlier, and in general I could have done a lot of things earlier. How strange that there are things for which you always have to be ready, and for which you never are ready. Well, that sucks. I assume it's to do with cancer, seeing as the experiment seemed to give that off. Ooh, relic case. Another black pin. Can I wear 2 of them? Oh yeah. Still encumbered, but slightly less so. And let's have a look at the scientific terminal. A single block of text is flashing on the display. For Phobos Group employees only. You obviously aren't one of them. Maybe it's just your imagination, but from the corner of your eye it seems like something else is flashing on the screen. However, when you look directly at it, you can see that it's the same text. Maybe I need goggles or something? Or an ID, I mean, it'll just display it fine. Damn it. Locked. Get in. No, they actually have decent door security. Are all these empty? Looks like it. I really want to speak to that guy though. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Just brings me to this area.